Welcome to Season 4 of the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast, a sacred space where women gather to share their stories, wisdom, experiences, and spiritual journeys. Each episode is a heartfelt conversation honoring the voices of women from all walks of life. Healers, intuitives, teachers, creatives, and soul seekers, as they speak openly about transformation, empowerment, healing, intuition, and the path that has shaped who they are today. Inspired by the energy of the triple goddess, this podcast was created to uplift, connect, and remind us of the strength and wisdom carried within every woman's soul. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Now settle in, open your heart, and enjoy today's conversation on the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast. Our special guest today is Lindsay Percy. We invite you to listen to part 1 of our conversation.
Welcome to the podcast, Lindsay. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Oh, good, thanks. It's nice to have you back. It's been a
Yeah, I'm
while.
excited to be here.
Oh, good. So now we're into season 4 and we have some brand new questions. So I'd like to start
Amazing.
off by asking, when do you feel most like your true self? And what does that version of you look like?
So I'm most myself when I'm out in the garden, actually. Um, Connecting with the soil, the plants, whatever it may be out there, observing the bees. Um, that's when I feel the most myself.
Yeah, nature.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
or out in the forest or wherever, but it has to be in nature.
yeah. Do you connect barefooted or do you,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of reading about that actually, about the importance of bare feet out in nature, and there's such a difference in energy.
And even if you think deeper too, the connection of the soil that gets under your nails and everything and how
Yeah,
that impacts gut health as
yeah.
well makes such a huge difference in our overall bodies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, so tell me, what is a part of your story um that you felt you needed to hide, but now feel ready to honor?
Um, well, I started spiritually waking up about 5 years ago, and up until this past year, it's kind of been hidden. Um, but that's been coming out very frequently and very in every conversation. There's little tidbits about the energy work that I do, or the somatic work, or this or that, just really accepting every aspect of who I am.
Yeah,
And it's been, I don't think liberating is the exact word I want to use, but it's the one that's popping into my mind in this moment.
yeah,
So, um, but yeah, it's been definitely eye-opening in a sense
yeah. What brought you to that point?
of just accepting myself.
Yeah,
So I did the Yule tradition of writing 13
okay,
things down on paper
yeah,
and burning one every day. And at that point, and mine were deep, like some of them were 2, 3 sentences long. And the last one I had left was learning to accept who I am, where I am, how I am, and all the challenges that come along with that. And so my focus this year has been solely on that alone.
oh, that's good. I know women have a hard time, don't we? Some like
Hmm.
in accepting every stage that we go through because they're not all the same, right?
Exactly.
It's like every decade, we're changing into, either from a maiden to a mother or to a crone, like it's always changing. And along with it, our bodies change and our minds and, soul. And so
Hmm.
it's difficult at times for some women. It's
It's
challenging, I
funny
should
that
say.
yeah, and it's funny that you say the 10 years, like that decade, because I just did a post on social media about the decade,
Yeah,
and how wild the decade has been for me
yeah,
and my
yeah,
body and how it's gotten me to where I am today.
yeah. And it is about honoring it. You
It
know,
is.
too many women, we try to fight it, okay?
Yep,
but it's about honoring it and welcoming it and embracing it, you
exactly.
know. And you've been doing that this year. That's what you've been focusing on.
Yeah, and showing up authentically on social media. So I stopped using my business page and just
Okay.
started showing up authentically on my personal page, both on both social media platforms, so Instagram and Facebook. And it's been different because I'm sure there's people in my personal life that don't really give two hoots about this stuff, but at the same time, I'm also connecting with people that I didn't really think of to connect with in, relation to the energy work or motherhood or whatever it may be in that moment. And it's been really beautiful.
That's good. I'm happy
Yeah,
for you.
thank
That's
you.
great. You're glowing, actually. I can see you. Unfortunately, the audience doesn't have that opportunity, but yeah, you are glowing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what does your soul whisper to you that your mind sometimes tries to override?
What doesn't our mind try to
Yeah.
override? um, in reality. I mean, a lot of it comes back to that acceptance piece, right? My soul
Yeah.
is saying, this is who you are, embrace it, do the things. And my intuition is saying all of those things. And my mind is like, well, this thing, I don't know about that. So it's really just learning to understand that mind isn't the final say,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, right? Like when you're an intuitive soul, then everything comes to your gut first
Yeah.
and then your mind. And your mind is very quickly reacting to whether it's a yes or a no. And then from there, your mind determines what way you go. And so
Yeah.
it's really more leaning into my gut and what my gut is saying versus allowing my mind to just take over and be like, meh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny, eh? Like we have to learn to shut that off sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
difficult. Some, like depending on the situation, like what do you do to shut your mind off so that you can actually go forward with your heart or your intuition?
I usually sit in silence. So I will sit, I'll get away from the kids and the family and go sit outside, or I'll shut myself in a bath or shower
Yeah.
where I can just be with my thoughts. And a lot of the time I find when I get into water specifically,
Mhm.
the thoughts just kind of disappear
Right.
and my mind is quiet. And then I can reintroduce what I want to focus on in that moment and go at it with a level head, I guess
Yeah.
is what would be the way to
Yeah.
go about that. But yeah.
Yeah, it calms us down, doesn't it? The water in it. It
Hmm.
actually helps with patience too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
struggle with patience, but um I find like when I just kind of breathe and I've got water on or I'm in the water or in the shower, it actually helps me with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The powers of water.
Yeah.
I think there's a book called that actually, but it is very important. The water, whether you're drinking it or you're standing in it, or it's very cleansing.
It is. And every time, so we live in an area that's um, very similar to rainforest type weather. And
Okay.
so every time it rains, I'm like, okay, well, the area needed a cleanse today. So sweet.
Yeah.
But you see that shift in people too. Like if you see them the day or two before the rain, they're like flustered and frustrated and at the end of their patience. And then you see them a day or two after the rain and it's like a totally different person.
Yeah.
So water really has this ability to, in my opinion anyways, cleanse an area, not just a person.
Right. Yeah.
It's wild to
Yeah.
pay attention to.
Oh, absolutely. Um, I read a lot in the Farmer's Almanac as well, and they speak to that too.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, for the farmers, for every, I mean, everything needs water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. So what does coming home to yourself mean to you?
Um, it means coming back to the most authentic version of who I am. So I've struggled with that a lot in the last decade,
Yeah.
because I went from being a new mom to being a second time new mom to having cancer and just about dying, and then into grief and a big move, and then my spiritual awakening. So it's just been so many things all at one time, and coming back to the version of me who blurts out the most inappropriate comments or just doesn't think before speaking, and that's who I am. That's,
Yeah.
I'm not dampening that. I'm not, it just I'm just fully embodying and accepting where I am and who I am, because that's that's what I need to do. And coming back to that, so I find if I go out into a crowd, or these specific people that I hang out with, they bring out a certain side of you, and
Yeah.
then I get out of there and it's like my mind is on overload, in the sense of, okay, I stopped so many words from coming out, and my poor husband, bless him, because he's got to take it all in. All of it just like comes spewing out of me, and he's sitting there kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, yep, okay, we're gonna let this happen, because if we don't, it's just gonna keep getting worse. And and then it's like, I can breathe again and just be again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lesson to never hold yourself back for the people that you're around. And if you
Yeah.
are, then they're not really worth being around.
Yeah. Do you think that starts when, like at a young age, when we're taught that, like think before you speak?
Hmm.
Because I know
I
in
do.
my generation, there was a lot of that. Like you were taught to, don't respond, you think before you do, you know.
Yeah,
But I think that also contributes to us holding it back.
it does. And then in turn contributes to your throat chakra being
Right.
blocked or hindered or spinning in the opposite direction it should
Yeah.
be. And it just makes it impossible for you to even speak up for yourself,
Right.
never mind just speaking what's in your mind. And now we homeschool, so our
Oh, good.
girls are very much around like free speech.
Good.
And so, they will blurt out anything they want to, without holding themselves back. And I think that's one of the best gifts we can give them,
Oh,
because
yeah.
they're not going to experience that. I don't want to say oppression, but I guess in a sense that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Don't say it unless it's nice, like obviously within reason.
Yeah.
Don't be mean for the sake of being mean, but, you know, speak your voice, speak your
Yeah.
mind, and be proud of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're teaching them like communication's key,
Hmm.
like there's you and also too, it helps to not assume. Like you need to communicate so a person doesn't assume about another person because that never gets us anywhere anyways.
No,
You
not
know,
at all.
so the communication, you can freely approach somebody and talk.
Exactly.
And that's important. I mean, there's too many hurdles out there in life that we don't need to put one in front of communicating, because that's
Exactly.
doesn't get us anywhere. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're homeschooling and they're free to express themselves.
And, like we noticed it in our youngest. She's like, "Oh, I did so horrible at that." And I'm like, "But did you? Because you accomplished what you needed to accomplish and you did it really well." I said, "So you didn't do terrible at it. Stop limiting your beliefs about who you are and embrace who you are, because, and then I'll go on the whole tangent of all of the
Yeah.
things that we love about her and what makes her who she is. And then she's like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you."
Yeah,
Like,
I
but
mean, it helps with your
seriously,
self-worth, your self-esteem, everything, right?
exactly.
Yeah, that's
We all
great.
need to lean into that in our lives, right? That
Hmm.
recognizing all of the good about us before we start seeing the bad.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, that's very important. Um, okay. So what belief about yourself did you have to unlearn to become who you are today?
I mean, there's a few. There's the I'm not worthy or I'm not deserving. And then there's the I'm not enough.
Okay.
Um, and all of them kind of interlace. So, I had a lot of I'm not a very good mom. Like, we're not going to be able to homeschool. I'm not trained for any of this. And any mom who's shifting to homeschooling and has never done it in their lives, they all have that imposter syndrome about
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you're your child's best teacher, but you're also your best teacher. And the I'm not enough, I mean, everyone is feeling that right now, right? You're not enough at work. You're not enough
Right.
at home. You're not enough as a wife. You're not enough as a mom. You're not doing enough. You're not being enough. You're not present enough. And so unlearning that and leading into like more intentionally conscious, present everything. And I
Yeah.
mean everything in, less tablets, less phones, less TV, and just being has completely changed my entire belief system about who I am, what I'm worthy of, and what I'm deserving of. And has also shown me that I am more than enough, in
Yeah.
fact, not less than. And so that's been a big learning curve over about the last 6 months to a year, but it's changed a lot of things
Yeah.
internally and externally.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So what's the major change internally for you then?
Um, Definitely leaning into a deeper love of what my body continues to do day in and day out, from healing itself to, growing and changing to lifting that thing I never thought I could lift. And
Yeah.
I've been faced with a lot of that this year because my husband was injured. And so I've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting,
Yeah.
figuratively and not. And so you're kind of tested. And when you can realize that all you have to do is make that mindset shift of, okay, I'm going to get this done because I need
Yeah.
to, or because I know I can, it's like every cell in your body lights up and you're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it's freeing,
Yeah.
right? When you realize that you can do it and you've just been limiting yourself and now you've accepted, okay, I can do it,
Yeah.
then it just frees everything within your body, right? Your shoulders automatically relax, your jaw relaxes, you just feel
Yeah.
different and you just feel better.
Yeah, it's funny when you think of needing to do something and at the time you think, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to do that?" But then when push comes to shove and your mindset is to do it, you just it's like all the strength comes in mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, and you get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so unbelievable, like what we really can do if we allow ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's things like I look at a lot of people in their lives, and at the time they'll say, I could have never have done that. Like, how have I done that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Like if you allow yourself to learn more about it, how truly, powerful our strength can be in those ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've had people who have said, how do you keep going when, you had cancer and then
Yeah,
my dad died and then all of these things. And it's like, but if I didn't keep going, I wouldn't get to where I'm headed.
Right.
right? I wouldn't be moving forward. I would just be this giant puddle of almost nothingness.
Yeah.
Whereas now, because I kept going, my strength gained, my bravery gained, everything has gained. And what did I get out of it? I got such immense growth that
Yeah.
why would I have stopped myself and stagnated?
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. What a path you're on right now, huh?
Yeah, it's been wild,
Yeah.
to say the least.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you this question then. It seems like the right time for it. So, what does your inner voice sound like today compared to 5 years ago?
5 years ago, I was grief stricken, so my inner voice was harsh.
Yeah.
Now it's not. It's very gentle and I find a lot of what I do now is like, okay, remember this person might be going through something and that's why they're treating you the way they're treating you, or not to justify that their behavior is horrible, but we don't know what they're going through. So how can we judge their reaction based on one interaction? And so
Right.
same with kids, right? They're continually growing, their nervous systems are continually dysregulated. They're all the emotions, never mind if they're spiritual and empathic at the same time, which both of mine are.
Well,
And so it's just, learning to have patience and grace with them and myself. Because if I don't do that, then that doesn't get us anywhere,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So now my voice is soft and it's full of love and gentleness because that's what I needed and
Yeah.
it's what's gotten me here.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, we have to be kind with ourselves, right? There's enough out in the world. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that in your own body that you're kind with yourself
Yeah,
and you're grateful for yourself. You love
exactly.
yourself and all those things, like, because when we don't do that for ourselves, how can we do that for others?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You can't
Yeah,
pour from an empty cup, right? It always comes
yeah,
back to that. If you don't pour into yourself, you can't give what others need you to give to them in that moment. And that could be
yeah,
your kids, it could be some stranger on the street who's having a hard day and they just need you to smile at them and say,
yeah,
hey, right? It could be something as simple as that, and you change that person's entire day. So being able to have that gentleness with yourself, it goes a
yeah,
long way for everybody.
yeah. It's funny you say smile because I read not too long ago that, if you wake up and you smile at yourself first thing in the morning, how just that in that moment changes
Mm-hmm.
your day.
I believe it.
Yeah. So you can imagine what that does to somebody who's struggling and that you don't even know walking down the street, and all of a sudden there you are smiling at them.
Yeah.
You know, that's a
Yeah.
gift.
And it is. And, that brings me to in December, we were grocery shopping in the Okanagan, and our daughter, this lady had these very interesting earrings, and it was like an elf throwing up or something, but
Oh,
she
wow.
didn't get this concept. She didn't understand what it was, but they were all bright colors and just beautiful. If you looked
Yeah.
outside of that factor, and you could tell this cashier was like having a day. It was 10 days before Christmas. It was busy as heck. And my daughter looks at her and she goes, "Oh, I really like your earrings." And you could just see like the light start to emanate right out of her. And
Yeah.
it changed her entire day. And, giving, that's where I come back to, giving our kids the ability to speak freely and
Yeah.
express themselves in whatever it is literally changing other people's lives while they do it because they're not scared to say the first thing that comes to mind,
Right.
right? They're not
Uh,
scared to compliment the cashier on her very vibrantly colored hair. They're not scared to make eye contact. And, you know, we have a lot to learn from kids who
yeah.
live without fear of communication.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what? A fear of anything really, like children, fear doesn't really kick in till you're an adult,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but to be back as a kid or a child and to experience no fear like that, because it's the responsibilities of an adult that tend to cause the stress. But to have
Exactly.
that feeling, we can still have that. Like it's a mindset,
It is.
you know, like it's how hard is it, really? I mean, without
Yeah.
being called immature, like it's not being immature. It's being in tune with who that child is inside of you still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's one, it's every step is healing that inner child.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you allow yourself to openly be that inner child, the deeper your healing is.
Yeah.
And that's what so many people don't understand, right? Is everything you do and say and think and react to as an adult stems from something that happened to you as a child. And
Yep.
it's insane when you start healing that because so many things change
Yeah.
and shift for you.
Yeah. That it does. Okay, so now that we're on the topic of a a younger child, I love how these questions are kind of flowing. If your younger self could see you today, what do you think she would feel?
Mm, definitely, I actually think about this one often is if I'm doing her justice because, I won't say that I had an absolutely horrible childhood because by no means did I, but it was challenging. I was one of those older siblings who grew up
Ah,
earlier, when my parents separated for a short time, and I was responsible for my younger sibling, getting them to and from school and, all of the things.
yeah,
And so it forces you to grow up. And I feel like now that I have my own kids and I'm having more fun with my kids, I feel like the little girl inside of me is like, oh, this is what I needed. Thank you
yeah,
so much for giving me this. As simple as playing catch with a softball in the yard
yeah,
or badminton or riding bikes or whatever it is. A little bit of me heals every single time I do something with my kids. And
yeah.
when I think about being that little girl, she's no longer screaming at me in my dreams for attention anymore, like she was for a
Okay,
very long time. Um, that being said, I haven't seen her in a while either,
yeah,
but I know just because of the way that my heart is feeling that she is happy right
that's good. Yeah.
now and
So
content.
when you heal, you're healing your inner child.
Hmm. I am,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's important. We as adults don't grasp that for
No.
at certain times. And, sometimes it takes a while, but once we do, the benefits are, I mean, you just can't believe how many benefits there is to that because you're healing, again, decades
Mhm. Yeah.
of your life.
Well, exactly. The benefits are priceless,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're invaluable because the value that they add is something you could never put a price tag on,
yeah, yeah,
right? There's
yeah. Because you think about like if you're healing your little, say, 4-year-old self, well, then you're going to heal that 14-year-old and then
hmm
the 24-year-old because
yeah,
everything follows. Everything,
exactly.
continues. All your choices, your decisions, anything, any argument or whatever that may have
Yeah,
happened in that time gets healed.
exactly.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. Well, you know
It
what?
is, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go into a part two with Lindsay, I believe.
I think so too, yeah.
So, but that went fast. Our podcast is 30 minutes long, and I wish we could go a little bit longer, but we will definitely have you back, Lindsay. Does that sound okay?
That would be lovely. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to having you back.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us for another soulful conversation on the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast. We are deeply grateful to our incredible guests for sharing their wisdom, experiences, and stories, and to you, our listeners, for being part of this growing spiritual community. Your support, kindness, and presence mean more than words can express. We would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our amazing sponsors whose support helps make these conversations possible and allows us to continue creating a space for connection, empowerment, healing, and inspiration. Fernbury Collective, Krylo Crystal Creations, Divine Guidance Personal Empowerment with Dale and Jeannie Hogue, Transformational Retreats in Cypress Hills, Lynette Waltham Energy, Nirvana 101, Trinity Empowerment Center, Red Haven Healing, Soul Sanctuary Lounge, Brandy Music Publishing Canada, Wildcat Hills Records Canada, Burke Virtual Assistant Agency, Your Waves Radiant Energy Empowerment Clinic, Bonnie Supernant Psychic Medium and Author, Soul Divinity Healing and Art. If today's episode resonated with you, please remember to follow, share, and leave a review so we can continue reaching souls who may need these messages and conversations. Until next time, may you walk gently, trust your intuition, honor your journey, and continue shining your light. Blessings from all of us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.